In sports, President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated world heavyweight boxing champion Anthony Joshua for regaining his belt in a rematch with Mexican Andy Ruiz Jr. President Buhari rejoices with Joshua, saluting him for bringing joy to millions of Nigerians at home and in the diaspora who had rooted for him to regain the titles he lost about 6 months ago. The president also wished Joshua well as he seeks to bring more glory to Nigeria and to the boxing profession. In the meantime, Anthony Joshua insists that he is ready to rock and roll with Alexander Usyk if a WBO title defense is enforced next after his points win over Andy Ruiz Jr. Joshua regained the WBO, WBA Super and IBF titles following a points victory in Saudi Arabia on Saturday night. And WBO President Paco Valcarcel was quick to tweet that mandatory challenger Usyk must receive a title shot within 180 days. Joshua also restated his desire to unify the heavyweight division.
Alexander, Usyk, Ulev, Ruiz. I don't want to mention the other guy's name, you know who they are. But when they're ready, you know, I fought a lot of great names on my record and I've beaten some good names as well, and I'm looking forward to taking on more challenges. And Andy's still on that list because I think we make for good music. He's a good dancing partner. But we'll see what happens, man. I'd love to unite the belts, but I think me chasing, same as in the fight, sometimes if I'm chasing the right hand or I'm chasing the left hook, it may come crashing down, and I realised that chasing that fight wasn't playing into my benefit. So I'm just going to let the path take its course. I've got great people managing me.
Well, from the boxing ring to Ayimba's campaign in the CAF Confederation Cup, which is back on track after the People's Elephants secured their first win in the group stage. Ayimba defeated Ivorian side San Pedro 1-0 in Aba, courtesy of Martin Sule's goal in the 64th minute. The two-time African champions travelled to the Mustafa Taka Stadium, Blida, for their next fixture against Paradu on December the 29th. Nigeria's other representative, Rangers International of Enugu, suffered their second loss in the group stage of the competition after a 4-2 defeat at the hands of Egyptian side Al Masry. Super Eagles forward Kelechi Iheanacho got on the score sheet as Leicester City thrashed Aston Villa 4-1 to make it 8 Premier League wins in a row and keep alive their hopes of catching leaders Liverpool. England forward Jamie Vardy got a brace in the one-sided game, which saw the Foxes dismantle Aston Villa at the Villa Park. Elsewhere, Newcastle defender Federico Fernandez scored a late winner as his side came from behind to beat Southampton 2-1 at St James's Park. Sheffield United came from behind to earn their first win in 5 Premier League games and left Norwich City still 4 points adrift of safety after beating their opponents 2-1 at Carrow Road. In the last game of the day, Brighton and Wolverhampton Wanderers played a 2-2 draw, which sees Wolves climb up to 6th on the league table. Some international stories now. 43 workers have been killed after a massive blaze razed a bag factory in the Indian capital, Delhi. Officials say the fire broke out at the 4-story building in the city's congested Old Quarter early today. More than 60 people have been rescued from the factory, which mainly makes school bags.
At least 100 laborers are said to have been sleeping inside the building in Azad Market when the fire broke out. Although there has been no official word on the cause of the inferno, this eyewitness say it was caused by a short circuit.
Some people were sleeping in the factory and they didn't wake up as the fire broke. It was a short circuit. There was a fire in 2 buildings with a common staircase.
The area where the factory is located is a web of narrow alleyways, which made it difficult for firefighters to reach the blaze. Rescuers had to carry out victims on their shoulders one by one. The Delhi state government says it will conduct a probe and action will be taken against those responsible for the fire.
It was a residential area, and whatever factory work was happening here comes under the jurisdiction of MCD, that is the Municipal Corporation of Delhi. I don't know whether they had taken license for it or not. There'll be a thorough investigation on this, and action will be taken against whoever is the culprit.
Indian cities have often seen deadly fires with poor planning and lax enforcement of safety regulations major factors.
The Red Cross says flooding in Uganda has claimed at least 16 lives as the region reels from weeks of rain. According to the aid group, rescuers have been recovering the bodies of victims swept to their deaths by the flash floods in the western Bundugbuyo area. Homes have been washed away, a number of roads blocked or destroyed. Large parts of East Africa have suffered floods and landslides in recent weeks. Hundreds have died while millions have been displaced. The events have been linked to an unusual weather phenomenon in the Indian Ocean. And the main news again. The presidency justifies rearrest of convener of Revolution Now, Omoyele Sowore, by the DSS, insists Secret Service is acting within its powers. Also today, United States government criticized the rearrest of Omoyele Sowore shortly after he was released on bail. Plus, you heard a massive fire in a 4-story building has killed 43 workers in a bag-making factory in Delhi, India. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Many thanks for watching. I'm Millicent Walker. Have a good night and a great week ahead.